This is lesson 1.3 out of the Introduction to Algebra book. Lesson 1.3 is just one page of notes. This one is pretty simple. If you have already worked out lesson 1.2 where we learned about exponents, this is placing what we learned about exponents into the order of operations process. So the title of lesson 1.3 is Order of Operations with Powers. Order of operations. It really should be operations. Order of operations with powers. All right? Okay, so starting, of course, with warm-up. And we have 4 warm-up problems. First one is find the value of 5 cubed, or 5 to the 3rd power. All right, and number 2 is find the value of this expression, 14 plus 6 divided by 2 multiplied by 6. And you need to remember your order of operations on this. If you're not sure, refer back to lesson 1.1. And I'll leave some space under here because you're going to need to make your PEMDAS triangle happen there. So over here, I'll have number 3. Number 3 is write 1 to the 4th power in expanded form. And you should be able to do that right under here. So number 4 is find the value of this expression. 200 subtract 50 multiply by 2 and plus 10. Again, order of operations here. Refer to lesson 1.1 if you are unclear. So let's leave a few lines here for the work that needs to be done there. And let's see, we should have, I think there's 3 operations. So 1, 2, 3. Let's put our I can statement right here. All right. So today's objective, what you will be able to do at the end of this lesson is I can find values of expressions with exponents using the order of operations. Order of operations. All right? Okay, so dark green pencil, draw a line under this, and we'll head straight for examples. All right? So this is very similar to what we already did in lesson 1.1. We're just now covering the PEMDAS step of exponents. All right? So I'm going to be gluing the notes section in the upper left corner. And then we'll talk about how we deal with the exponents in order of operations. Tiny bit. There we go. Okay. Order of operations. Now, in lesson 1.1, I did that wrong. I meant to do that here. Oh well. You just highlight the order of operations part when you do yours. All right, so, but the value of powers is the step in the order of operations that we're adding. In lesson 1.1, we learned how to do what we will call step 3 and step 4 in the order of operations, the multiplying and dividing from left to right, and then last step is adding and subtracting from left to right. So, again, so that we have these in the right order for the total of PEMDAS, I want to go ahead and, let's see, orange pencil. Let's cross out that one and call this, step 2 circled. Dealing with powers is step 2. And let's see, where's my brown pencil? And dealing with multiply and divide is step 3. And then the very final step, adding and subtracting, is step 4, right? And again, this is for PEMDAS. Okay, and we've already done add, subtract, which was the last step. We've done multiply and divide, which we do together, left to right, which is the third step in PEMDAS. I know it seems funny we're working backwards, but it's because we're working from the most easy steps in the order of operations to the most difficult, or maybe a better word would be the ones that you're less likely to be familiar with. And then E stands for exponents, which is the one we will be learning about in this lesson. So then in the next lesson, guess what? We'll be learning about parentheses, or rather grouping symbols, as we've discussed when we were learning about lesson 1.1. Okay, so we're just going to do 2 examples because it really is very simple. If you understood how to do the PEMDAS triangle one step at a time from lesson 1.1, and you're clear on how we find the value of powers of exponents, then this is going to be a cakewalk. All right. Okay, so the instructions are: find the value of, all right, and here's our first problem we'll do. Find the value of 2 times 5 squared plus 10 squared divided by 10. All right, now our order of operations, as we know over here, our order of operations tells us I first have to do any grouping symbols. We don't have any grouping symbols. We haven't learned that yet. That'll come tomorrow. I next have to do exponents. Well, I certainly do have exponents here. So I'm going to take my orange pencil and work them one at a time. Now, same as before, you need to do one operation at a time from left to right. So what I see here is my first exponent is 5 squared. That means 5 times 5, and that is 25. So I will write 25 below there, and then bring down the rest of the expression. One operation at a time. All right. Okay, do I have any more exponents that need to be taken care of? I sure do. That one right there, working left to right. So 10 times 10 is 100. I'll write that down and bring down the rest of the expression. Times 2 divided by 10. All right. Then I got to work left to right looking for any multiplication and division. Multiplication and division. Let's see. I see my very first operation right here is a multiplication. So I have to take care of that. 2 times 25 is 50. So I'll write that 50 there and bring down the rest of the expression. All right. Still looking for any multiplication and division left to right. I can't add 50 to 100 because this is an addition that I cannot do until I've solved all of my addition and all of my multiplication and division. And I have a division problem right here. So 100 divided by 10 is 10. So I write that down and bring down the rest of the equation. Now all I have left is an addition operation, so that's what I have to do next. That makes my final answer 60. 50 plus 10 is 60. So I will circle that in red and make my PEMDAS triangle. And that's how we do it. Okay, the same as what you learned in lesson 1.1. We're just adding now, resolving exponents. If you're unclear on how I found the value of these exponents, of these powers, go back and look at lesson 1.2. All right, so we'll do one more small one over here. I really don't feel like I need to put any more in the notes than this, since there's really so little new information we're adding. All right, so the problem we'll do over here is 10 squared divided by 2 plus 10. All right. First step on this one, it would be first step in PEMDAS is grouping symbols. We're not dealing with that yet. I don't have any. Second step is exponents, and I do have an exponent here. So 10 times 10 is 100. I write that down, and then I bring down the rest of my expression. All right. Second, I don't have any more exponents, so the second step would be to be looking for any multiplication or division. And I have a division right here, working left to right. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So I write that down and bring down the rest of the expression. All right, and now I can deal with any addition and subtraction because I don't have any more multiplication or division. I have this last operation here of addition. 50 plus 10 is 60. Oh, look, we got the same answer on this one as we did on the other one. All right, so that's my final answer. Make my PEMDAS triangle. And that's it. Okay, those are the notes for lesson 1.3. So we can go on to the practice problems, and you can make sure that you're ready for this and you know what you're doing. Okay, so lesson 1.3 practice problems. We have find the value of the expressions. Same thing we did in the notes on those two example problems. I give you 4 different problems, these two and these two, to work out. Remember, step by step, you should have PEMDAS triangles on all 4 of those. All right, and then the last one is something you'll see on your worksheet. So I want to explain it a little bit. It says one number should be squared, that means have a power of 2, so that it equals the stated amount. Show your work to show your answer is correct. So that means one of these numbers has to be squared, one of 10, either the 10, the 4, or the 2 has to be squared in order for this to equal 9. So once you figure that out, then you're going to work it out just like you would these to show your PEMDAS triangle, and that's your proof that you squared the proper number to make this equation true. All right, so that's all you got to do on your practice problems. I'll put it back to the top again so that you can pause here and work them out on your own. And then the last problem here. Okay, let me show you how these go. See how you did. All right, so problem number 1. Again, working with our order of operations. The first step would be to solve any exponents. So 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. Bring down the rest of the expression. Now I'm going to work left to right to find any multiplication or division, and I see that I have 15 divided by 3, which is 5. bring down the rest of the expression. Now I don't have any more multiplication or division, so I can do my adding and subtracting left to right. 5 plus 9 is 14. Bring down the rest of the expression. And 14 minus 9 is 5. So that's my final answer. So the value of this expression is 5. And I'll make my PEMDAS triangle here. And there you go. That's problem number 1. Okay, number 2. Again, the first thing I'll do is resolve this power, this exponent here. This 3 cubed means I need to multiply 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So 3 cubed is 27. All right, bring down the rest of the expression. So then I'm going to be looking for left to right any multiplication and division. My first operation here is a division, and I've got 27 divided by 27, which of course is 1. Bring down the rest of the expression. And now I'm left with a multiplication operation. 1 times 4 is 4, and that's my answer. So the value of that expression is 4. And PEMDAS triangle. There we go. Okay, number 3. Let's see what we got there. On number 3, I have 2 exponents I have to take care of here. So 9 squared would be 9 times 9, which is 81. Bring down the rest of the expression. I still have an exponent I need to take care of. 2 cubed is 8. Bring down the rest of the expression. Okay. Now I just have addition operations, so I need to work left to right. 81 plus 8 is 89. Bring down the rest of the expression. And 89 plus 1 is 90. That's my final answer on that one. So I'll circle that. Make my PEMDAS triangle. And there we go. All right, last one of these order of operations. We've got one exponent that needs to be taken care of. So 6 times 6 is 36. Bring down the rest of the expression. Now I'm looking for any division or multiplication, left to right. My very first operation here is division, so I have to take care of that first. 36 divided by 6 is 6. Bring down the rest of the expression. Again, I'm looking to see if I have any more multiplication or division. I do, this first operation here. So 6 times 2 is 12. Bring down the rest of the expression. And now I'm left with this addition operation. 12 plus 4 is 16. There's my answer. All right. Okay, so PEMDAS triangle one more time. Okay, so that's how those 4 are solved. Let me see if I can get all 4 of them in the frame. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you would solve all 4 of those. I hope you did well when you tried them out. Now, let's see what happens with this one down here. So finding the one that works, you may have to do a little bit of trial and error. You may have had to do a little bit of trial and error. But as I look at this, I think to myself, well, if I squared this 10, I would have 100. And 100 minus 4 would give me 96. And 96 divided by 2 isn't going to be anywhere near 9. So I know 10 isn't the one that's going to be squared. If I squared 4, that would be 16. 10 minus 16 is going to get me into negative numbers. That's not, no. Order of operations, right? So 16 divided by 2 would be 8. 10 minus 8 is, 10 minus 8 is 2, not 9. So that's not going to work. So if I square the 2, then 2 squared is 4. So I have 4 divided by 4, which brings me 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. Squaring 2 is the way to go. And I have to prove that by, what I did is I just put the 2 right here to show that that was the one that I wanted to do. And then I have to prove it on down the line like I would order of operations. So 2 squared is 4, bring down the rest of the expression. Looking for multiplication and division. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Bring down the rest of the expression. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 is my final answer here. And that is what we were looking for up here. So this is the proof that I squared the proper number, the 2, and that answers the question there. All right? Okay, so that's practice problems for lesson 1.3. The worksheet for lesson 1.3, very much like what you will see from your notes. Just a lot of practice at doing these PEMDAS triangles, one step at a time. If you write really small, you should be able to do your work right here on the page, just as I showed you in the notes. And then at the bottom, we have 2 of those where you've got to figure out which number needs to be squared in order for these equations to be true. So again, we did one of those right there in your notes. Refer to them and you should be fine. And last one is your exit ticket. As I always say, this is just for extra practice. I don't give you the answers on these. Your teacher may use them in other ways in your classroom. So those are your exit tickets. Okay, so that's the end of lesson 1.3. Remember, the only way to learn math is to do math, and mistakes are proof that you are learning.